Felix Ndahinda is a researcher and analyst specialized on Africa's Great Lakes region. He joins us live from the Netherlands. So Felix, in diplomacy, for so many reasons, a government taking responsibility after the fact, publicly and explicitly, is rare. An apology, so much the rarer. Take, for example, the U.S. recently, when President Obama visited Hiroshima, Japan, where Americans dropped an atomic bomb during World War II. We saw the president go there and say a lot, but we all knew that an apology was never on the table. So now we see Macron going there, asking for forgiveness. Is this an apology? And how do Rwandans see it?
My understanding that it was a carefully kind of crafted apology, as much as a French president can do, who is basically dealing with a lot of pressures, both in terms of people who demand that apology, but most importantly also counter pressures in France from many kind of established powers that are against that apology. So in that sense, when he talks about him coming to Kigali with humility and respect, to recognize their responsibilities. I'm here translating his words. Mm-hmm. I think that's as much as you could get from a French president, at least at this stage. And of course, he emphasized more work, which has to continue. But it was a carefully worded apology, to my mind. So there was this coming to recognize responsibilities, but towards the end of the speech also, he said something about him, only those who have gone through the night. His narrative was about the Rwandan night and how the Rwandans, the genocide victims, went through that night. And he said towards the end, only those who have gone through that night can be entitled to forgive us if they find that in them to forgive us. So in that sense, there was that recognition of responsibility and some kind of vague language of asking also for forgiveness from the victims and survivors.
Sure, it's almost a lesson in looking at what a president can say and what they can't. I mean, this very delicate dance, as you mentioned. So the French now admit to turning a blind eye, but still stop short of calling France complicit. There's always that balance of, in this case, France not wanting to be too easy on its actions, nor too harsh. But what it led to were atrocities in war. And you look at those numbers, 800,000 people killed. How do you think the average Rwandan will see this effort by the French government? Is there cynicism there? This just doesn't even come close? Or do they accept that, well, this is sort of in diplomacy as far as Macron could go?
A very good question. I believe there will be mixed kind of reception of this speech. At least that's the way I would see it. I mean, his language was very much carefully kind of aligned with the report that we saw from the Duclerc Commission. So he recognizes the political responsibilities, the damning responsibilities of a country that did not basically indeed hit the warnings, that did not kind of do what it's supposed to do, which aligned itself with the genocidal government. He used the words as well. But at the same time, the apology was not as explicit as could be. But for many observers of the context, especially of French politics, I mean, who know about the narratives around France and Algeria and apology or no apology, I guess the lucid in the crowd will understand that he did the most he could do, given the pressures back home of the military, of the socialists, and the allies of former President Mitterrand. He did something. He did give definitely in by recognizing the responsibilities in plural. I'm not quite sure what that means, but also by really talking to the victims and saying that they can find that in them to forgive them. So in that sense, it was not as explicit as many would have wanted to get, but I guess it was far more of a step than any previous, let's say, administration, including, for example, Sarkozy, who initiated this route, this journey, did admit, they were ready to do. I guess it was knowing what is the pressures are in France, I guess it was courageous of him to speak in those words, if you will.
Yeah, for a world leader, asking forgiveness, it's rare and it's powerful, in part because it's rare. Thanks so much, Felix.